All right, these all worked before. Looks like audio is good through my eCam, so hopefully it's good there. Hello, everyone. That's really loud in my ears. Like my music was really loud in my ears. Oh, okay, cool. So if I go too low, it mutes completely. That's cool to know. Hello, welcome. How is your Wednesday going, everyone? I am ready to get working on this again. I went back and forth on exactly what I was going to do today, on if I was going to start like subscriptions tables, like to keep track of subscription history and stuff, or if I wanted to go to do like budgets and like do something that the app that could actually propel the app forward. And I decided to opt for the budget stuff and the budget table and start figuring that stuff out. And again, to propel the app forward. Very lazy Wednesday over there, Coco type. Yeah, I'm sure it is, because you just got back from Dub, right? Not Dub. Wow, that's in June. Deep Dish. There we go. Very, very early Wednesday, followed by very lazy Wednesday. That's fair. Very fair, because travel days are always like, very lazy days, I'm sure. Did you end up... How was Deep Dish? I heard glowing reviews from it. I heard a lot of good talks. I tried to stream some of it, but work got in the way, unfortunately, as it does. Deep Dish was fantastic. I hope to be able to go next year I'm assuming it's gonna happen every year. So I hope to go to the next one. Hopefully it all works out, like scheduling wise, but I'm glad it was fantastic. The talks looked really cool. What I tuned into sounded really good. The conference and the food. Nice. Yeah. Also, you can't, like, passing up Chicago pizza, like, yeah. Oh, and Josh already pre-announced next year. Perfect. Great. I just have to actually hop on tickets and book the time instead of, like, waiting till the last minute. And hopefully it'll work out. Sweet. But yeah, so Deep Dish, super awesome Swift conference. I think all the live streams are still up actually on YouTube. Let's see here. Slash at Deep Dish Swift probably. Yeah, all the live streams from day 3 look like they're still up, which is super cool. The thing that bothered me on the live streams, which you probably don't know, Coco type, is that if you have your headphones in, you only heard it from like one side. Like it was like mono, but direction, like it was all coming in through the right channel. So yeah, I did it for a little bit, but then I stopped purely because I couldn't handle the mono channel. But I am gonna go back and watch some of these because some of the talks seemed really cool. I don't know how long they're gonna stay live, but so I guess I should probably watch them before they go down. If they go down, I don't know. They also might not, to get more views and stuff. Sweet. So, like I said, today I'm going to be working through the budget table and getting budgeting put in. I did over the weekend, well, I guess over the week, because on Sunday y'all saw me I streamed doing some user stuff. I did get a couple things done in the user repository. Like I'm able to create a user. I'm also able to update a user. So I update the display name with the new display raw value. Ooh. I might have to hit you up at some point if they do go down. Because that would be super great. But I'm guessing that they'll probably stay up. I'm assuming they will. We update the values, set the updated at, figure out where, all that good stuff. And then we return the response user with the newly updated name, all that good jazz there. As I'm supposed to. I updated the user controller to update a username using a new codable type for display name request, just to update the display name. I got sent a video about type-driven development, like using types to guard safety a bit. So I tried that a little bit here with this display name value here that does a nillable init, so that it can validate and then store just based on the fact of the name. I don't know. I'm trying stuff out, trying to see if I understand it, stuff like that there. With that kind of like type-driven development thing. I'll find the link for it and probably post it in my Discord, so feel free to hit that up for a link to that at some point. I know I posted the link in the last stream about it. And then it just calls the repository to update the display name. I also added in tests for all of these things. So we have, I did add in a test for the user memory repository. I probably am not going to keep those up because I don't need to do that. Like, I don't need to test the memory repository over and over again. But I did end up making a user Postgres repository and using a user Postgres. I was like, that's not the test. That's where I wrote it. I did end up making a user database repository test. So it actually does spin up a Postgres database, and it runs all of the tests serialized, which was something I learned about in Swift testing. If you want to run each test in the class like sequentially or one at a time, there's a serialized parameter you can toss in that allows you to go one at a time rather than trying to do everything parallel, which was causing me a lot of issues to do everything parallel. Everything started failing. All the tests started failing on this class because it was trying to connect over and over to the same database that was already up. So by running them serialized, it was able to spin up the database and then close it down each time, which was great. I did find out that to fail a test, you can do issue.record and then put in the comment as to what the issue is so that you can figure out what the error is. So by doing issue.record, it's going to fail the test at that point. This is all using Swift testing, so it's a little bit different than XE test. So that's what happened here. And then because of how I needed to run the client in a task group, I don't know if I have to or if this is just something that I'm doing because I didn't want to try anything else and I just wanted it to work. I have to run this batch of code inside the task group to actually drop the table. So delete the table again, make it clear out the database. And then if it fails, of course, fail the test. And then cancel everything inside that task group so that the client shuts down. Again, I don't know if there's something better I can do there in Swift testing using Postgres like I am, PostgresNIO, but this was just something I figured out. And it works. It passes. It does everything that it needs to do. I did that with the create user, update the username. I also did tests for, and then I also have the user controller test going, test suite as well. So that's kind of like a big update as to where this project currently stands. So I think everything except for like deleting a user is actually tested out and inside the app, which means we're going to go on to budgets now. Cocoa type, mostly because that guy wanted to go break them up into sessions to go back and match up with the notes. Ooh, that is very smart and super, super useful. Like I hope that Josh or whoever is the media company behind the live streaming will also break it up by session, as that just makes it a lot easier to go back and see, especially for people who just want to do, like, again, either compare notes or just want a very specific talk, basically. But hopefully someone goes back and does that, because that's great. Okay, so let's hop into actually making some code here. All right, so I think this is gonna get really messy with me just keeping it as controllers, but we'll just keep it that way. So actually, before we hop into code, let me do an overview real quick of what these look like. Where did it go? Budget, entities. All right, so here's what a budget looks like. Sorry, trying to make it larger real quick. All right, so here's what a budget looks like. We're gonna have the budget ID. It's gonna be related to a user ID, which is gonna be the foreign key. It can have a budget name and then just timestamps when it's created at and when it's updated at. My created at and updated ats I've been storing as strings in the database because I want them to be in ISO 8601 format, so I can just quickly read when things were updated and created at. So that's what's gonna happen there with the budget. So the idea of a budget, if you notice there's no like, well, I guess you wouldn't really see transactions or anything on there. But a budget is going to represent just like a file type, basically, if you think of it that way with like a document. So like if you think of it like a spreadsheet, it is the spreadsheet container. And then each of the months that you're going to budget, that a user would budget for, is going to be like a budget period that lives associated to the budget somehow. So again, these get a little bit crazy, so we'll go through it. Eventually it will all make sense. So we have the budget here. So a user owns the budget, at least one budget. It could be many budgets. It's going to be up to the user at that point. One sec. I need to change my focus real quick. Sweet. Okay, so, like I said, there's going to be a budget. It's owned by the user, or multiple budgets. Then each of the budget, so then a budget is made up of these budget periods. So think of each month in a budget, and this can go on for as long as the user wants the budget to go on. So if the user wants a budget to live on for years, it can live on for years. Mainly, I'm thinking of it just being 1 month. So the start date would be like May 1st, and the end date would be May 31st. And then you could go to the next month. And again, it would be June 1st through June 30th, stuff like that. Cool. And then all of these pockets are what I'm calling like categories, basically, in a budget. So we have a pocket type, which would be like the unique budget, the unique category inside. So like I have a category for rent, or for transportation, and for like dining out. Like that would be the pocket type. Just very basic, like name, description. There's some other fields in here, just very basic like metadata on the pocket. And then I have like a pocket def, which again, it's more, hold on, now that I'm reading it, I'm like, wait, is it necessary? There was a reason I did this, and I of course didn't write down why all the time. So displays the order within the budget. The pocket okay, sorry, the pocket type is like a group. So like in my YNAB budget, I have different groups, right? Oh, here it goes, groups. So I have different groups. So like I have like must-have, like my like must-have expenses, rent, electricity, stuff like that I just always have to pay. And then I have like a fun category where it's like me and my wife's allowances. We have a set budget each month that we get to spend, no questions asked. Our dining out budget, our drinks budget, and like our vacation budget kind of go in there to where these aren't things that we necessarily have to have, but they are good things that we want to account for. So those are like the fun budget of the fun group. That's what the pocket type is. The pocket definition is actually the like category itself. So again, those that I just rattled off, like our allowances for each other, dining out, drinks, that kind of stuff. And then also is going to keep track of the display order within the budget. So again, which one shows first, second, third, that kind of stuff. And then that has a pocket instance, which says which budget period it's going to belong to. So what month is it going to belong to? How much has actually been budgeted? And those relate to the different transactions, which relate to the different accounts. Anyway, so there's a really high level, mid-level view database system looks like here. It's kind of convoluted, I understand, but that's what we're going with for here. So we're going to start with the budget specifically, just the little baby budget, and then we'll continue on from there as time permits tonight. And feel free to interrupt, ask any questions you have. I am happy to answer. Yeah. All right, I'm going to toss that over here. let's head into the budget world. Into coding world. As I said, my plan for the stream today is to be able to create a budget table. I want to be able to add a budget and relate it to a user, so through the repository and through a controller, and then hopefully also be able to fetch said budget through the budget ID. So 3 things I want to get done. We'll see what happens. Sunday, I was only able to get 1 thing done out of the 3, hence why I did a lot in between Sunday and today. But we're going to see what happens. All right, so let's start with a new folder here. And let's organize these a little bit better. Drag those into users, new file. We'll do a budget. All right, so we have a budget repository. So this is just going to be the protocol. Let's import foundation because I like to have that. I wonder. Yeah, that's fine. I have this here to just get a quick timestamp string so that like in my repository, whenever I want to do created ats and updated ats, I can just call this. I wonder if there's like a better function for me to put this on that's more universal and not specific to the specific repository. We'll deal with that in a moment. So we'll manage his budgets for a user, manages budgets. It can manage, we're gonna just say manages budgets. It might manage more than just one budget because I think it'll be also include like functions that I need possibly while developing and stuff like that, and for like admin work. So let's do create a new budget. Don't want to yet do anything besides create a new budget. That sounds fine, right? Response budget with a new budget. It follows the same pattern as like my user here, but we don't have these models. So let's go ahead and grab those, make those. New file, new budget, .swift. All right, so from my entity file, here's what I got. So let's import the foundation, and we're gonna delete the top part here, these first 7 lines. Once I'm done, I just like to have them. It's a lot easier to have the reference to what I'm doing here rather than like trying to go find it in Notion later or somewhere else on the screen. So let's do a struct new budget, and we'll just conform it to model. So this is going to be the, no, I don't think I want to conform it to model. Hold on. What did I do for user? So there was user, which was what's sent to the, which actually isn't right. That's not what's sent to the client at all. There's user model. I think I could actually just delete user. Let's see. Oh, that's also not great or helpful. So this is a little bit confusing because I don't think I actually use it. I'm not gonna delete it yet, but I think I can delete it. Let's see. So we'll see if that can get fixed there. I can delete that. So we have a new budget to be created. we're not going to worry about a user ID, but we do want inside a new budget to have the user ID, actually. So we don't need to worry about the ID for the budget, but we do need to worry about the ID for the user. I think that's it, actually, that we need in a new budget specifically. And we do want this to be codable and sendable. So these are going to be like request so this is going to be what's the request body for a brand new budget. This isn't what I thought I was going to make first, but that's fine. So when a new budget is created, all I need is the budget name and the user ID that made that budget to begin with. Sounds doable. Sounds right. So we can close this. I mean, delete those. And now let's make the one that I wanted to make, which was the budget model. And this is going to be what's stored in the database. So we have foundation that we need, and then struct budget model. Budget name, created at, and let's change these to string. Yes, I think that's right. And so that everything goes to snake case with the underscores. All right. So yes, that is what I need. Just so that I have the idea, everything. Okay. Sweet. So everything's basically commented, which some of them are just redundant comments, but that's okay. And still lets me see a little bit better. Okay, so we have the budget model, we have the new budget. We probably need to do a response budget is what I'm missing, I think, in here. Yes. So when a budget is returned from the client, so like when you call a route to get a budget, what data is actually needed to be returned from that budget is what we're making here. So that's the info I have on the budget. We probably want to do... we probably want a Hummingbird here to import Hummingbird because I think there's a specific... Yeah, response codable is what's needed for Hummingbird, as this is going to be a specific codable object that Hummingbird can actually send out through it on the controller. Identifiable, equatable. I think it has, and it also has to conform to sendable for the use inside controllers, I believe is the reason why I have to do that, if I remember right. It does not conform to identifiable. Let's, okay, great. It should now. Is it not going to? No, there we go. All right, it just took a sec to get updated. And I'm going to do the same init here. So we're going to explicitly say an init. Because I want the init to be able to, we have to have an explicit init because I also want to do a custom init very similar to over here for this response, for this in the response user, so that I can go quickly from a, from the model to the response budget. I mean, this is where cursor is actually really nice because I've done something similar. It's kind of checking the, like, what's been done before, seeing my patterns there and being able to like autocomplete really easily, which is, again, really nice. So this is actually saving a lot of time. So that's gonna go from budget to the user ID. I probably actually don't need the, if I'm thinking about like the information I actually need from a budget right now, I probably immediately don't need the user ID actually. Oh, whoops. No, yeah. We don't need the user ID. The created at and updated at, I'm gonna keep, though, because we need the do I actually need the user ID? I know for sure we need the created at and updated at in case I want to show that in like the UI. So that's like a little bit of like planning that I'm trying to think of. And that doesn't mean I necessarily need it, but that is something like I think I will need. All right, sorry, I just got a text and my wife told me that it is being reported that Tesla is looking for a new CEO, which is about time. So we will see what happens there. All right, I usually have everything on Do Not Disturb, but her texts come through because sometimes it's important. And I will say, that feels kind of important. All right, so we have this response budget made. So this is user repository, budget repository. We are now cooking with fire here to create a budget. Open up here. Let's do a budget model. Budget memory repository. All right, so import foundation. I think I just imported Hummingbird last time so that I could access like the same errors that I want to throw from the memory repository, which probably isn't the best thing to do if I'm thinking about separation of concerns. I should probably have like specific errors here, but I don't know. We're just gonna go with it. Why? What is it missing? Oh, duh. I am missing my create a budget. And we don't have the get timestamp. So this is what I was saying, like, it doesn't have this. So I wonder though, instead of doing it on the repository, let's actually make an extension on date. I'm assuming that's in foundation, extension, date. Yeah. So now we can do date.get timestamp string on a date specifically, so I need to do. There we go. So now that should let me get the timestamp string, and we could go and replace now in user repository. We don't need this. And it's gonna get upset because this is not a thing anymore. Date timestamp, where else? Here. Boom. All right, so, oh, is there some, oh yes, there's other places that I did. All right, maybe there's one more? Yes. All right, so now that's all done, fine and dandy. We have the dates coming from here. If I really wanted to test it, I guess I could. I don't feel like testing it right now because I don't want to mess up the Docker container I currently have running. But we can, I guess I could push these changes. It's fine. We will push all at once, I guess. And just do a giant commit, which is fine. All right, so we have the create budget in the budget memory. So let's make a Postgres. Repository. Postgres. All right. This isn't right. No, yeah, no, that's not right necessarily. Yes, it is. JK. All right, so the first thing here is we also need to create a table for the budgets. Again, it's very nice when this kind of is pretty great. So this is the part that I don't know is right, because I was looking into this earlier as to what this like SQL statement would be, and I think I've seen it declared on the same line here. Foreign key constraint. It's used to prevent actions that would destroy links between tables. Oh. Okay. Well, that looks like it's declared exactly like that. Where is... I'm assuming it would be the same in PostgreSQL, but I don't know. W3 Schools hasn't really led me down the wrong path before. Create table, probably. Okay. Well, that's not as helpful. We have SQL statement explained. I'm guessing it's the same. So I guess I can just keep it foreign key references, but I look at the wrong thing. No. Okay. Oh no, this is on the same line. References persons, person ID. Okay, so I think what I need to do here is move this to here. UID not null, foreign key. Maybe I don't need to do the not null then. Let's see what the actual documentation says. That seems like a good place to go, because I, again, am not sure. I've never written like raw SQL and Postgres like this, so I've never written raw Postgres like this, like statements like this. I've always used Fluent, so this is a little bit new, or a lot of bit new. References, this says it's just references. There's like no like foreign key specifically. And I am in the current 17, and I believe I am running a Postgres database in 17. references, city names. So if you don't... Okay, so that seems okay. But what does chapter 5 say? Data definition. Foreign keys. Okay, so a foreign key constraint specifies that the values in a column must match the values appearing in some row of another table. So I don't think I need the not null anymore then, because I think that gives it to me. And then I think I just need references. I don't need this. Users with an ID. Users at ID. Okay. So to me, this makes sense. I guess we could then try to make this happen. Oh, I don't have the creative budget. Equals now, budget model. Hold on. That's not what happens here. We need to... Okay, so we have the budget. I think that's fine. I mean, it doesn't really have to go into a budget model. We need to kind of follow what I did here in create user. Oh, I did that in a do catch, so I could catch specific things. Oh, specific error. So first we have the query. Why? Okay, so hold on. Let's make this full screen real quick. Okay, so insert into budgets with the values. So we have the user ID, the budget name, created at, updated at. Do I? Yes. Okay. Great. All that's coming through, it looks like. And then we're going to return the ID, budget name, created at, and updated at. Does that actually match my response budget? I think it does. ID, budget name, created at, updated at. ID, budget name, created at, updated at. Perfect. Okay, so then now we need to go and decode these. I'm pretty sure there has to be an easier way to do this. But alas, here we are. And this is gonna go. So then we need to convert these from a string back to No, we can just make a budget model. I don't know why it keeps... Right, so we can do a... What did I do here? User Postgres, edit response user. Why did I not just make it a budget model and then import, and then take the budget model to a response user? Because that seems... Oh, I guess I don't have everything that a budget model needs, right? Because I'm missing the user ID, which I guess I would have, though. Oh well, we'll follow the same pattern because I want the same pattern. So now that should give me the created at, updated at dates from using the formatter. And then we append the created budgets there. And we return. We are not going to return the first one like that. I'm just trying to compare it to what I did. That doesn't actually convert anything, so that's actually something that didn't matter. Created user, guardlet created user. Okay, so we are still inside here. Once this budget is appended, and failed to find the created budget and the result. Okay, so this would not matter. So this is going to return this created budget, the very first created budget, which is all we do is create one budget. That's why we do the guardlet first. And then if there is an error, you just need to return a error here. Throw error. Whatever error it gives, it can throw. We're already reflected. So we need to do a string reflecting error here because that's how you look at the error from PostgresNIO is by using the string reflecting error. If you don't, you'll get what you'll see in the console log in your console when you like hit the error is something saying like, for privacy reasons, we are not exposing the information unless you do the string reflecting error, which makes sense. Probably not as much sense if I'm going to just log the error anyway with a reflecting error, but it's to help like keep data like a little bit more private. So that's what we're going to do. And that's why we do this. Cool. So it looks like our Postgres repository is done. So we can go set up the budget, go back into application build and get these working here, right? So now we need a budget repository following the same, we're just gonna follow the same pattern as the user repositories. Thanks, Ice, appreciate the thumbs up. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for dropping by. If y'all see me talking to random people that you don't see, it is because y'all are either on Twitch and not on YouTube, or on YouTube and not on Twitch. But I have both going. And I don't know what the rules are anymore about me saying that I have both going, but I do. Cool. So we have repositories here. Then we're gonna do why is this set to... Oh, I think it has to be, right? Is that what I do? Yeah. Because I want this to be some repository, user repository. We want some budget repository here. We don't want to just accept any, we just want to accept some. So for it to be an explicit type that we're accepting here. Let created there we go. What's wrong here? Oh, we're missing the budget repository. Well, we just set those there. And then so we have the user repository, the budget repository set there. We also need to now add a service. Can I just keep adding services? Yeah, so it's a, oh, what's it called? A variadic function, so you can just keep adding as many services as you want in there. So that's what we're gonna do next. So let's do budget repository dot client. What's wrong? There we go. I think accessing the logger like that is fine. And then we want to try await budget repository, create the table. All right, with that being said, my ad's about to hit on Twitch, so I'm going to take a break real quick so I can stand up and walk around. I will be back in a couple minutes. You're not going to miss anything if you're on Twitch, because like I said, I'm going to go take a break. So I will be RB. hold on. One sec. I unmuted. I didn't do what I needed to do. Sorry, if I don't use my headphones, if I don't use my headphones, my mic breaks, and that's not good either. Yeah, great question, Steven. Thanks for joining also. Thanks for popping in. Yeah, you were wondering if, great idea. Just wondering if I'm using an API like Plaid or Plaid. I don't actually know the pronunciation for that. I guess I should at some point. Like if I'm using that to actually connect to the user's finance. Short answer is I will be. Long answer is, well, I guess, yes, I will be. I think that's on V2 of my plan for this project actually, or I guess post MVP. I'm trying to break it into small chunks. I want the ability to actually record like manual transactions first and then be able to sync the user's like transactions via Plaid, or if there's another API to use, like I'm happy to look into it. Plaid's just the only one I know of because that's what my current budgeting app uses. So yes, that's a really long way to say yes, I will be, but not initially. Right now, we're just kind of working on building the basics, and I want, again, user input first, and then add like the Plaid or Plaid interaction on top. So that'll be probably a while before I get there, because I'm not even dealing, right now I'm just dealing with the backend side. I'm not even dealing with the user side. You hope there's another API. I did a project very similar to this for a hackathon, but the problem is Plaid is super expensive. Well, that's sweet. Awesome. Good to know. Actually, how that it can be very expensive. We are going to see, maybe we're going to see, the plan is to also put in subscriptions into here. I want to like launch, hold on. I can show my Notion for this. One sec. Wrong screen. There it is. So back to my Notion, like I do have MVP features I want to get in here. Like these, they mainly come from like a UI standpoint, right? That's what the users are gonna see. I just have to build the actual backend for it. So like here's what's not included for the MVP. So like reoccurring transactions and bill for transactions and bills. So like rent comes out every month. The car payment comes out every month. Can we set those up to be reoccurring? Stuff like that. Probably I need to figure out what I want out of these MVP features to be like subscription based. Because for me, these are all basic like table stakes of a budgeting app. Or maybe I just make it always subscription. I don't know yet. And hopefully that'll help pay for this right now. But for right now, like my goal is to get manual entry in and then allow for some transactions and bills to be reoccurring and figure out monetization as I build it basically, and figure out what I want to actually like, allow there for monetization. Another idea I had for monetization was bring up the idea for multi-budget support higher. That way, hey Nutterfry, thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for lurking. Yeah, I have been enjoying streaming the last 3 times. So I'm glad I'm also back online. Is bring up multi-budget support higher, and that's just going to be something that is paywalled off. And maybe like, you know, budget in like one account, right? So you get one budget, you get one account. If you want more than one account, that's whenever you got to pay, you know, start to see stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know. We're going to see about that. Or maybe I'll just do a free trial. It's always paid, but you start with like a month free trial. For budgeting apps, like a free trial really has to be worth it, in my opinion. Like you can't just do like a week or 2 weeks of free trial. Like it has to be like almost a month or 2 of a free trial to see if it's going to be worth it or not for you. At least for me, like I budget on a monthly basis, so like a free trial any less than a month, it'll be hard to see what happens. Not hard to see what happens, but yeah, it'd be hard to see how it jives with my workflow until I get a lot closer to that, to the like next month, to see if like oh, the budget worked or not, and stuff like that. So yeah, right now we're just kicking through the back end though. These features will happen as they happen. I'm gonna put these off to the side though. Super cool. Probably be chilling here for a while. You know absolutely nothing about Swift, but you do love backend. Nice. Well, feel free if you ever hear me say I have no idea about XYZ, it's because I don't. I am apparently deciding to let this really complicated structure be my first true backend like needing app. So we'll see what happens. I'm just really comfortable in Swift. I am an iOS developer, so that's why we're in Swift world here, because the language, that leaves one less barrier of entry with the language. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Thanks for dropping by. Feel free, chat away, and you know, I like talking about the project, hence why I stream the project. I think it's fun. Not only does it let me like learn what I'm doing better, helps me also, it also is fun to talk to people about things, about what's going on. All right, so where did we leave off? So we added in the service here for the user repository client, the budget repository client, and we create the table. So we need to create the user repository before we create the budget table. We need to create the user before we create the budget table, because the budget table depends on the user. Made. Must be made first as it is used in the budget repository, in the budget table. Cool. I just want to make sure we have it documented here why we're doing something first, in case I'm like, ooh, let's try swapping these around for some reason. Cool. So I think we should be able to actually run this app, and it should make a new budget table without doing anything in. So let's try it. What is that? Because I don't really need it to attach to a controller right now. I don't have a controller. So like I have the user controller here. I don't have a budget controller yet. It's my user controller controlling all the endpoints for the user endpoint. I don't have that for the budget, but I don't think I actually need that yet. I think we can just run it and see what happens. As long as this doesn't fail down here, we'll see things change. Okay. And it did, and that's okay. We'll figure it out. Missing argument for a parent. Oh, I see. Okay. So this is an issue in my testing. Testing is great. I love testing. But my issue is if I don't include it in, if I don't update the test, it's not gonna build. Where am I looking? Oh, in the build router. Did it just not catch that? Anyway. Let's see what happens here. Make sure there's no more red come up before I do this again. Okay, let's try again. And Nutterfi, I really appreciate the lurking. I appreciate anyone who's watching and hasn't chimed in to pre-condition failed, Postgres client.run should be only ran once. What's happening? Okay, so something's going on here and I don't know what, which is great. Yeah, I really appreciate everyone who's watching right now. It's really just fun for me to build this and talk to people if people want to chime in. If people don't want to chime in, I'm still going to say what I'm doing. And, you know, that's how it goes. Okay, so I had an issue. Helping me keep the momentum of working on my stuff too. I'm glad. That is something also that I like about watching. Like, I also watch other people stream. So like Nutterfi over here on my Twitch channel, on the Twitch channel, he is awesome and does a lot of Twitch streaming also for, or does a lot of streaming also for Swift and SwiftUI things, and then you also play games, which is cool too. But yeah, that's also why I enjoy watching other people code stream, because of it helps me be accountable at the same time. Like having someone else work on screen helps me also work on screen. Okay, so what's going on here? So we have a build run should be called only once. What am I doing here? I bet somewhere in the client. Well, oh yeah. Ooh, fun. I haven't played any of the Last of Us games, but I'm sure it'll be a great time. So we have the client. Am I running it by any chance? Yeah, let's just client.query. And then just to make sure here, we are also doing a client.query. And make sure I'm not doing like an extra client.run. It doesn't look like it. Create a table, return the app. This is interesting. Why? Let's see if anything. Oh. No, this is part of the tests, which shouldn't matter. I don't know why that said it failed. No, stop. No, just stop my tests. I have things going. The database isn't running. It's stop. That's fine. It doesn't need to run right now. Let's see. Let's go into app app. Okay, so this says try await run service, which is going to take in the services and run them. Great. I don't actually touch that. This run service is done via Hummingbird, which Hummingbird is the server-side framework that I'm using, server-side Swift framework that I'm using. It's just a really lightweight web framework, which is really great. It works well. I use it at work. We have like an image encryption or object encryption service that we run using Hummingbird, it works very well. Very small, very fast. Okay, I just don't understand where it's running twice. Well, where is it being called twice? Precondition, run, yeah. Service group, service.run, try await service configuration.run. Maybe I did do something weird in here. Oh, because they're the same client. That's what happened. Okay, so maybe I don't need to pass in the same client here. So I am using the same client for both, right? So we have this Postgres client, which is a class. So it should be like a reference type, if I remember correctly, down. So user Postgres repository client has the same client here and here. So if I'm passing in the client twice, it's trying to run the service twice here. So I wonder if instead of user repository client, I can just pass in client. No, does not exist. It cannot find client in scope. But where it, oh, okay, I see. So this is why it had to be user repository up here, so that it can exist. What if we just did a var client, Postgres client? We're gonna, the client is equal to that Postgres client. the same thing here. Let client. Oops. And then we have client, and then we can do the user repository, budget repository. Then it's not dependent on our repository and doesn't and gets confused. It's just looking for that Postgres client. Create a tables. Oh no, let's try it. Let's see what happens. I mean, value contains nil. Where? It shouldn't. Oh, I see. Okay. Because it can't be optional in here. It has to be a client. All right, so building works, which building worked last time, so good luck. So this, good luck to us running again. Let's try again. This is either gonna work or it's gonna completely blow up. I have no idea. Oh, we have server. We are listening here. So if I go into my API checker here, Rapid API, if I run it, we get 200. So yep, this is working. Server is working. And there's a syntax error. It failed to create the table though. And what did it fail to create table? So in the budget repository, it did not create the table. I was hoping that this would tell me why I did not, but I guess not, which is fine. Okay, so end of position 222, error, triggered from file, query, create table if not exists, budgets. What is wrong? What is that? SQL state. There should be like a code. Where'd it go? These aren't what I'm looking for either. That is SQL state, file, syntax error at the end of input, position 2222. Let's just see if it can help me. Sometimes AI works well for debugging like these weird things. Budget. Postgres repository. Let's see. I am getting this error when creating a table in the function create table and at budget. Can you help me find the issue? Look at the error message on your SQL code. What am I missing? Main issue is that the SQL statement is incomplete. Oh, ha. I don't need a semicolon. Well, if that's the case, that seems easy. And super easy to overlook that it is missing the parentheses. Now I want to make sure that that is actually doing what I want it to do also with the budget model. So we have the ID, the user ID, the budget name, created at, updated at. All right, that looks great. Everything's there. We have closing parentheses. Let's try again. building. There were no errors. So that's cool. And then if we go to here, let's refresh. And we have a budget table. Look at that. We have a budget table. So that is, oh, that's not what I meant. Hold on. Woo! Exciting. We got a budget table. So awesome. It worked. I am also playing with Stream Deck triggers, which are fun. The app I use for streaming allows me to tap into the Apple Reactions API, whatever it is. You know, when you might not know, but like on MacBooks, when you do the like thumbs up, and it does like the thumbs up reaction, all that jazz. I'm able to put them on a Stream Deck key, which is really fun. So like that's, anyway, I was having fun programming that as well. Cool. So we have tables. So a table is working. Now we need to be able to create and write via an endpoint. Let me go. I have these tasks very loosely laid out, so I just wanted to make sure I'm marking them off. Great. Except, do we feel like writing? Yes, we should write a test. We're already in it. Let's just do a test. So let me, new folder, user tests, user, move these here. We'll do new folder, budget. I try to make my test, so when I'm making tests and writing tests, I try to keep them in the same file structure as the as what you see like in here in sources/app. So all the files that need to be tested will be in the same file folder structure. Except I'm not gonna run the tests initially because I don't want to, again, mess with my Docker right now. That's just a lot to deal with. So you know what? We're not gonna write the test on stream. I will just make a test later. Tests, what are those? Yeah, that is a great, I'm sure if one of my coworkers like saw this, he'd be like, oh my God, you write tests. And I'd be like, yeah, apparently I do, just not for our code sometimes. The only reason I'm even tossing out the idea of tests for these is because it's dealing with money. And it is really like, I don't want to mess up people's money. That's the only reason. Okay. So, yes, we're just going to assume this works, though we know that the create table works. We just saw it work, so that's not a big deal. And we know it works when we run it. Yeah, so that's okay. That's fine. Okay, so let's do, what is next? So we're gonna call this done. Ability to create a budget via a route. Cool, so let's make a budget controller and start all that stuff. So we're gonna start routing, actually creating new routes now that we have a basic repository set up, and the basic repository also includes the functionality to create a budget. So let's keep on. He finally started writing tests almost 1 year into your app. Nice. Hey, better late than never. It took me, let's see, I launched iHog in 2020 and it's 2025. It took me like 4 or 5 years to get a test into iHog. So like, 1 year is amazing. Again, I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't people's money. Like the idea behind like verifying people's money. And by people's money, I mean specifically my money to start out with. We'll see if any we'll see what the tests make it into, like what tests make it into the iOS app though, because no promises, there will be a lot of tests in there. If I can at least test the logic in the back end, I feel like I am solid. More solid than no test at all, at least. All right, so let's make a controller. Controller, new file. Budget controller. I'm very creative, y'all. So we definitely, so I think, that's not right. Controller, manager, helper, yeah. All of the things. So like controller though is very much a like backend thing, right? I don't know if it actually is. Like it is a Vapor calls them controllers. Like what? Vapor.codes. Get started. So like whenever you're like dealing with routes and such, like those are controllers. See, controllers. Controllers are a great way to, they are collections of methods that accept a request and return a response. So to me, this is like they're already named. And it's not like the like, oh no, do I go with a service? Do I go with a manager? What about a helper or a creator or like an assistant? It's like, this is a very like dedicated name for this type of thing. And I don't know. There it is. I mean, Hummingbird's files aren't like docs aren't as specific. They're just called a route collection. But if you see in like their examples, they use controller also. I'm guessing it's just a common convention. Again, I don't do backend, so like I'm assuming that this is a common convention to call these types of things controllers. But we do need to open up the user controller. Oh, let's rename this. Also though, let's commit what we have because I have a whole slew of unneeded things that need to be grouped together. All right, so we don't need to worry about that right now. Let's do the budget stuff. So that's a date that affects the, not the budget model. What does that affect? We'll go ahead and add these changes to delete. Let's see, we also, that changes, nope. Oh yeah, this is like refactoring stuff. And changing where it is. I think this is okay to all group together as one thing. Something also that this has been kind of great with, it's not really implementing though until this, right? Is the refactor is actually coming with git commits that are actually very useful, because like I'm not the best sometimes at creating git commits, but like AI, the AI stuff can go and see what's been changed. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Let's just add the rest. I think it'll be fine. Except for this one. Oh, and there's, I don't want to put this in yet. New budget, everything else, I think we can commit. There's no message. That was my fault. Budget management, budget creation, functionality, via repository. Commit. All right, and then here, these are gonna come into handy. Let's see what happens before I continue down this like controller thing. let's see what happens when there was that user model that I was like, I don't know if I need it. Let's see what happens when I close it. And when I delete it. What? Because I don't actually use that, I'm pretty sure. Let's make sure it builds successfully before I continue. If I'm not using something, it's fine to delete it and not need it. So great. Great. All right. Now we can keep going. Oops. User controller. I just want to get the setup right. It's actually pretty decent at knowing what I want. It helps that I have done this before. And also the create is always the easiest. Right, let's just decode as given the context. Try request dot decode. Some request. This should work. We have an @sendable create response budget. What's going on? Oh, I'm not awaiting. Alright, so I think that's all I need to do that. And we also need to at some point make that actually a created response that comes back and not just a non-create okay. So let's do oh, okay, so we have these endpoints, post is used.create budget. We need to add these endpoints to the router. So that's in application and build. I have this function for build router. So on here, we're gonna do another. Can I just add more routes? No, I think I just need to do another. Add routes, add path budgets. And then we return the router. I'm going to try to not do the V1, the forward API / V1 thing. My goal there is to just avoid, kind of avoid it, honestly. Out of a, that's honestly all I really am. I've read a couple articles about how, you don't actually probably need to have that happen, like the V1 thing. If you do testing properly and you're versioning correctly and you know where your users are, probably, more than likely you can get away from not having the V1, V2, V3 things and work on getting it right. And so we're gonna see what happens. I might at some point add in V1s and that'll throw everything for a loop. But I think it'll be doable to not. There's a lot of different ideas rummaging around my head with how to architect this a bit, also including this is not right. But if I type HATEOAS, which is like a hypermedia as an engine of the application state. So these are mainly used for websites, it seems like, and some like iOS apps. But the key thing here is there's links at the bottom of your JSON, and what it allows you to do is kind of basically construct where your new endpoints are. So if it does get to a point where I'm going from a v1 to a v2, I can kind of say what links to grab whenever I'm ready to handle the new stuff, rather than having to hard code v1, v2, stuff like that. Anyway, we'll see. We'll see when we get there. I'm not even touching the links part. I'm just trying to get like the proper things sent out. All right, so this should just work at this point. We have the budgets, so we should be able to quit this and restart. And then let's go into, because that should be all it takes to get the controller going. Rapid API, we're gonna group these guys into users. Looks like we are a go and running on the app. So I should be able to, let's make a new group called budgets. Add a request. API / budgets. Yeah. Body, JSON. What do I need in a new budget? Again. Close. Just a user ID and a budget name. So let's do user ID. Is that how it's done? Yeah. And then budget name. New budget. And then we will grab a user ID from here. All right, so I'm gonna send this request. We're gonna see what happens. I have the user ID given with this ID I copied from the table, budget name, gave it a budget name, and 404 not found. Because I didn't actually finish adding the controller. No, that should be right. Weird. Root API. Maybe I have to just do it separately. What part was not found, though, is probably also a good thing to see. Post. Oh. Helps if I have the right method selected. I did have get, which would make sense that it was not working. Let me return this to what it was. When I ran it, it helps if the right method is called. So instead of a get, let's actually make it a post and run it again. And there we go. We have 200 okay. And let's go check in the database. We have a ID, the UUID for the budget itself, the user ID, the budget name, and when it was created at. And if I click there, it's going to take me to the user, which is great. So this is all working. So we can create a budget that's associated to a user. Now I need to be able to fetch the budget. Let's go ahead and get this committed though. Add budgets route, introduce budget controller, update application build, add, create budget route. Sync. Yes. Okay, so those are gonna go up. So let's go see if actually my tests are even passing. Well, those are gonna not be. Oh, did it not? Oh, because I haven't pushed anything up. So these are gonna be running. It's gonna take like 10 minutes. We'll check back on this later. 8-10 minutes ish. Yeah. It just takes some time for the Swift stuff to get spun up. All right. Hold on, one sec. Let me fix something. Great. All right. What is next on my list to do? I want to. What is my little thing say here? All right. So we have created a budget table. We have the ability to add a budget and make it relate to its user, to the user that created it, or the user that's given at least, so I'll have to adjust that if needed. So what's left is the ability to actually fetch a budget. So let's go do that next. All right. And I guess I should write tests at some point. So after we get these after I get these done, this last one done, if y'all want to hang around, I'll write tests. I have this blocked off until 11, but if I don't have to use the time till 11, it'd be great. Also, so that I'm ready for work tomorrow. So we'll see. Cool. So we have display name, new user, what am I doing? I am trying to get a budget. So let's actually fetch a budget by budget ID. Makes sense, right? We're just gonna pass in the budget ID. We're gonna get a budget, pass it in with the UUID. Instead of passing in a UUID like this, we're gonna actually pass in a budget, something called a budget ID. It doesn't exist yet. We're gonna make it exist. It's a type that needs to exist in model. Whoops. Gotta make sure to add the Swift. Struct budget ID. It really doesn't matter, does it? No. This isn't gonna go anywhere. We don't need to worry about it being codable, sendable, anything. This is literally just like a placeholder. This is just like to give a stronger type. So again, I was talking about type-driven design, type-driven development, type-driven design with Swift. Here we go. These are the, this is the articles I was talking about here. Let's see. And it just talks about how you can kind of guarantee safety in your code. Like really the best way to guarantee safety in your code is with these small types, or with these types, so that the compiler can complain and get you to actually write the things correctly before you have to start diverting code into a bunch of if-else's. Like your compiler can kind of catch a lot of stuff for you. I kind of like the idea, so that's what we're gonna do. So we have this budget ID, raw value. For me, it holds a UUID. So we're gonna do an init. I don't want any of this because it's not codable. But we're gonna make it a optional init. I don't actually know what these are called. Like a failable init maybe, but that's what we're gonna keep here. That way, if it's not, hold on, sorry, I'm trying to think. Yeah, so if it comes from a UUID, we can always, what did I do? Hold on, sorry. Oh, that was whenever I was guarding it. Well, do I even need this then? Actually, I like the idea of it being a UUID. We'll just take it from the init. Keep it. We don't need to fail. We don't need the optional. We don't need to make it that extra. But I do like having the budget ID here because we're going to guarantee It's the specific budget ID. Cool. So this is gonna get the budget. So let's go make these conform now to the proper, to the prototype, to the protocol. But I don't need everything, right? But we're gonna do the same thing. I hate doing the same thing over and over. It really feels like I should be able to encapsulate some of these things into their own, like into its own function. Like I should be able to kind of say, hey, take this row. Like I should be able to drop this into a budget, so into a function. Maybe I can. It's fine. I don't really care. Okay. Sure. Let's try to be fancy about this a little bit, just so that I can try to get these specifically out of here. Parse row, budget. I mean, that looks right. To at least get this part, right? So that's gonna... Do I even have a try? Do I have any? And then we can return that. And I don't think there's actually even anything here, except we need to throw an error. These shouldn't be HTTP errors actually at all in here. So I'll have to change those later. Let me write that down as a task real quick. Change errors in repository from HTTP error.init to some other custom error that makes more sense. Open help. That's a 2 backend. Currently, they don't make sense and shouldn't rely on HTTP error, as there is no networking. Cool. Great. So we'll change this at some point. So then we can do here. Let budget just continue it, and it's gonna append. So that actually works way better than I want it to. I think. I don't know. We'll have to try and see if it's actually going to work, but it should. I don't see why it won't. Let's just make it follow the same thing. I'm pretty sure the try does the same thing, but I don't know. Anyway, that should work. We'll see how that goes. So that's the get budget. I mean, I'm gonna keep this as asterisk from now, to just so that everything can be selected. Maybe at some point if budgets ever blows up to more than the like 5 things that are in it, I will worry about it. But right now, there's no reason to. This is going to go through the row and make sure all of that's the same anyway. And make sure that I'm only getting what I need anyway from the response budget. So it should be fine. All right. So get budget. Now we need to do the budget memory. Get budget. Cool. So you might be wondering like why I have 3 different repositories, right? Technically. So this is just the protocol. It's my scaffolding. It's just saying what functions and values are going to be the same between implementations. Then I have a memory repository. So this is mainly used in like testing, so that it's just going to be adjusting this array. And that's really it, to be honest. Like, it's going to do everything on that array, so I don't have to deal with like anything else in a database that goes with it. So again, think like testing situations when I'm only testing like the controllers. Do the controllers function as they should? Well, I don't need a whole Postgres database set up for that. I need just in-memory stuff. Or it could even be not even for testing only. Hey, Lord, stop eating yourself. Stop. Your paw is sorry, the dog was going haywire in his paw. And then so it can also be if I don't want to actually spin up Docker or anything else and get a Postgres database going, I can still run the app. It just is running in memory of that server, so it's not. So as soon as the server closes, it's all going to go away. And then the Postgres repository is going to be what actually communicates to the Postgres database and sets the table, gets the data from the table, or writes the data from the table to the table. So those are generally the 3 things that'll be in each of my repositories: the protocol, a in-memory version, and then a persisted version to the database. Okay. So those are done here. Let's go. We need the controller now to do this. Budget controller. Okay, so this is where things don't get weird necessarily. We're just going to do them a little bit different. So we're going to do a get here. And instead of getting a specific, so when you don't so this post means that there's nothing added on to the end of budgets. It's just whatever I want at the beginning / budgets, and it's using the post method on there. So I want to say budgets / an ID. So to capture the ID, we can just do this. And it's complaining because I don't have a get budget. So this is going to be saying, hey, we're going to capture that ID, whatever that parameter is, and be able to use it inside the function. I believe it comes from the context, but I'll have to go look that up just to make sure I'm doing the right thing. It's not decode. Where did I do that? I did that in the user controller. So it's context.parameters ID as UUID. Yes. So we can actually budget ID. Naming things is hard, so we're gonna do this. And instead of, we know that our get budget takes in a budget ID with the request budget ID. So we have to form that first so that it's a budget ID type. Which again, just helps like readability for me, to be honest, at this point. Cool. And then it returns the budget. So that's all that's needed there. So let's Control C, Build is all good because we have the check here. So let's run the app again and see how this goes. All right, it's running. Let's go back to rapid. Duplicate that. Get budget. Instead of a get, instead of a post, we want to get. I don't like actually that's gonna be budget slash with a given ID, but it is what it is. Grab the ID that's necessary here. Boom, and we have IDs, we have budgets. So this is great. We have the budget right here with the updated at. So the last time whenever it was updated, the ID of it. So this is what's stored in here, the budget name, and when it was created. Sweet. I like when things just work smoothly, right? So let's, woohoo! It works again. I did the wrong lasers again. Okay, I'll have to move that and it'll work better next time. Cool. So let's get these committed. Implement a new get. So we have get budget functionality. Cool. And did my last test work? That is a great question. Yes, they did. So we can see that there's a success there and they fully ran. And I have GitHub Actions. I guess I can pull this up in cursor. Oh, you can't see. Haha. I have a GitHub action here that gets my Postgres, a very secure Postgres testing database. I'll probably change all of that now that I'm doing this. And then it just waits and it runs the tests for both Postgres and then without Postgres. Like I have user controller tests and such. All right, let's go. Those are done. I need to take a break just a smidgen real quick. I just need to stand up. My legs get a little tired. I also need to, the cat is running around. I need to take the dog outside real quick. So I'll probably be back in like 5-ish minutes. Feel free to stick around, say hi. Feel free to join the Discord. Say hi there. A lot of people there, super cool, super awesome. I'm trying to get back into it. I took a hiatus for a bit, but I'm slowly getting myself back in. With that being said, I'll be back in like, again, 5-10 minutes. I gotta take the dog outside, like I said, and take care of the cats and stuff. Anyway, I'll be RB. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. We had again, dogs, all that jazz. All that fun stuff. Dogs, cats, everything. It's nighttime. Everyone has their routine. And I'm trying to figure out how to get streaming back into that routine. So, save. Back to live mode and publish. All right. So, ability to fetch a budget has also been done, which is great. So I actually accomplished the 3 things I was looking to get done on the stream. The next thing I'm gonna do is I guess I'm gonna write some tests and get that in, at least on the controllers. I don't feel like testing the repositories necessarily. Like, we're testing them right now, and I just don't. My brain will not let me test those. So let's just do the controller tests, and we'll call it good there. Probably until I'm like at the end, like, all right, well, I guess I can test the repository. But yeah. All right, controller, new file, budget, controller tests.swift, import Hummingbird, import testing. So we're gonna use Swift testing, which is brand newish, right? It came out last year or the year before at dub. So that's what we're going with. For side projects, I really like to use the latest and maybe not so greatest things, so I learn a little bit more along the way. So yeah, that's what we're doing here. All right. So at suite, what are we calling this? It is a budget controller tests. Cool. Except this isn't right. What is going on? There is a bit of setup that needs to happen because we have to set up this Hummingbird server, right? First. So let's create some test arguments. We need to do import logging at testable import app, lowercase t, and we probably need to import foundation. I want to actually just tab. Okay, that's fine, whatever. Because this isn't what happens anyway. Cool. Well, it does and doesn't. Well, first we need to actually create a user in here first. So this is where it'd be great to be able to actually pass in repositories, I guess. But first we need to make a new user, which can I just do client.user repository? No. I'm guessing I cannot. I'm just trying to think what we can do here. So these are configurations and the runs. No, that's not what we want anyway. All right, first let's make a user. So let user ID. So let new user. Excuse me. So we actually want to grab like this part. I don't know how to do this outside of this right now, and my brain is not working to let me do it differently. So we have the JSON. So then we need to try await client.execute users post. Just getting that new user added in. User ID. And then we can do let decoder equals JSON decoder. There. All right. Hashtag require I guess we don't need to require. We can just do, well, I wonder if that'll work. And then we don't actually need that because user ID has, just quick fix. Great, and then what's here? I thought it wasn't necessary. Whatever. Okay. Well, we know that it's gonna go through. Great. Why is it so stupid? Sometimes. We'll do JSON budget. JSON budget. So this is going to, we're going to expect the .ok, ISO 8601 in the decoder, and it's just going to do the budget name. That should be enough to verify that it's been made. What is going on? Oh, fatal error. Extraneous. That. So at least it can build. I don't see any errors. Let's run the suite. Right, cancel that. And these run. So we can create a new budget, which is great. Is there anything else I really need to check? Not really. I'm gonna assume that the date's right. If I really wanted to, hashtag expect calendar.current is date created at as isn't same date as new budget.created at. No, that's wrong. As dot now. Right. So it's gonna create this date, and it should be in the same date, the response budget, and same with the updated. So that's just verifying that all the values get filled in as I expect them to. Building and running again. And looks like we are Gouda still. We are golden. So let's do the fetch budget, which basically means we have to do the exact same test again to get everything set up. There has to be a better way to set these up. But like I feel like there's not, because it's all inside like this closure. So that's fine. Fetch a budget. Test fetch budget. That's fine. Okay, so this is the JSON budget. I don't actually care about these. And then we'll do the same thing here. Let budget ID, response budget. Okay, R, then, fine, we're good. Okay. And then we'll kind of do the exact same thing like we did here. Or we did this. Just making sure it's not equal to nil, making sure it actually gets set. And then budgets, great. .decode. Response.budget ID is equal to that. And then we also want these expects. I'm just being really lazy here. We want the response budget.budget name to be equal to the JSON name up here, the new budget name that we gave it, and then the created at and updated at should be the same times also. Let's just make sure. running. What's wrong? Something's wrong. Budget ID is having an issue. What note? What if we started with nil? Do I have to do that up here? No. But let's do it anyway. Just to be sure. Because that gets rid of the require macro, which is a weird one anyway. We should be fine. Let me delete the build folder real quick, because it's throwing some kind of issue, which I don't have anymore. So let's delete the build folder. It's going to cause it to have to do all this building and stuff again, but again, that should be okay. Oh, wait, it's right here. I thought I got rid of that. I guess I didn't. That's fine. Go away, sleep time. I'm not asleep yet. But I am still streaming, so... at least for another couple minutes. We'll see what happens there. Sometimes it just takes so long to build. I have to launch this, and if the plaid API costs don't actually like eat me out of Pocket, and people subscribe and want to use this app, maybe I will be able to update my computer. I will be updating my computer soon to whatever M series is out by the time that happens. Maybe not. We'll see. It all depends. I've had my eye on one of the M4 chips, though. I'm on an M1 Max currently. And it's been great. I mean, it keeps up, obviously. Like, it doesn't actually take too terribly long to do all this. It's just a matter of, I thought I wasn't using require at all anymore. Okay, great. It passes. Awesome. The M1 Max works great. Like, I've had it since they came out, basically, maybe a couple months later. Like, it's been awesome. It's been great. It's kept up with everything I've thrown at it. The only time it like sweats at all is when I'm like streaming and doing this stuff at the same time, which, to be fair, I'm streaming, I'm running Docker, I'm building Swift, testing Swift. Like, it is a lot to do all at once. So I don't blame it. And also, like, I run a video camera through it, like a ZV E10 through it. Like, I'm running 2 monitors, so it's not like I'm not putting it through its paces right now that I don't expect it to sweat. Just, you know, trying to do, it just is. All right, so we have best case scenarios for create a budget and fetch a budget. Do I want to deal with the testing of the Postgres repositories? Why not? I have time. Why not? All right, let's go kill Docker. How? Great, easy. Chat GPT gave me this really cool script call that lets me run. It's hard for me to not remember, but I just need this at some point. Sometimes I need the name. sh start. That lets me do this. Scripts manage test db.sh start. And then I can actually start testing like the controllers, which is cool. All right, let's start building tests out for these databases, right? Oh, that's what I wanted to open here. And then here we'll have this guy. Import. Oh, we also want... I love seeing what I did before because it's actually going to be... It just really helps. Not app intents, just app. All right, so again, we're gonna keep these serialized. We wanna keep them serialized mainly because we don't want them to overstep each other. I really hope also by doing these suite serialized, it's not gonna try to do them at the same time either, but I have no idea about that. So we'll have to see how that works. We need the repository and the client to be stored. Do we actually need the repository to be stored? Okay. Looks like it. Alright, so instead of 5433, we're gonna 32. It should be 5433. But it's gonna come from the environment, so it doesn't. I mean, it's gonna come from the environment when it's up in the cloud, so it's not gonna necessarily matter. Well, not up in the cloud, when it's up in GitHub Actions. So that's fine. Here we're gonna do let client equals Postgres client, config it. Great. Just to make sure I actually have my little, all my things here. And then we can do self.client equals client, self.repository is that of the client. All right, so we need to test the table. Client run. We need to also have a so this is not. So this is going to be a budget repository, and we also need the user repository in this case also. Because if we don't have the user repository in this case, it won't necessarily work. Not that it won't work, it'll just not be, we need to set up the user table first, like we did in the controller, because the budget table depends on the user table being there, right? So, but we don't need to keep adding tasks like this, like that's silly. We can just do this. But we are, because these can try. Well, can I not just do this? I don't know if that actually like helps me though. Task group. Cancel all. Not finite scope, why? That makes no sense. We want to get the comment reflecting the error. Issue record the comment. And it's like nothing happens in try here. And then I still don't know why. Oh, I didn't do the spelling right of the group. Okay, and then we need to drop both tables also at the same time. Well, I guess maybe I can actually put these, maybe not in a init, but do you think I could do it like, so those are for, so I need another closing function, right? So I could do a func, drop tables, async throws. So we just do that. Right. So this function, in theory, the client's is going to already be running. So that should be okay. We're going to drop the users and drop the budgets table. And just put it in here. So after it creates the table, create, great. As long as there's no error, it should be okay to drop the tables and then cancel everything. I think that's right. I think that would be okay. Worst that happens when I run this, nothing works, which is what I went through last night. So we'll have to see. Oh, what was the issue though? Constraints, budget user ID depends on table users. Oh, do I need to, I wonder if I have to delete the budgets table first. And then instead of creating the budget table, so you create the budget table last, but you delete the budget table first because that's what it's dependent on. Like it's dependent on the table still being there. I mean, that makes sense in my head. I don't know if that'll actually fix the issue, but maybe it will. Hey, it did. Okay. So we need to remember if we want to drop the table, the budgets table, the users table has to be dropped last. I mean, it makes sense, like now that I say it out loud. Great. Create table works awesomely. Great. Solid. Oops. I'm, again, lazy. Let's do, what's the next one? We did the create table, create a budget. Create a budget successfully. So we create the table, we drop the table, so we need to create a new user first. Create a new budget. I don't need all of it. Also, the user ID comes before the budget. Budget was never used. Let's use it. We don't actually get back that. That should be all I need to test, to be honest. I don't really care about the user ID coming back. I mean, I've tested that the dates are all right in other cases. I didn't test them here. Expect calendar.current created as in the same day as .now, and same here. Okay, so yeah, I need to test it in the Postgres repository. That way it is always expecting to be the same. I shouldn't just rely on the user controller tests. Great, and it also works. All right, so then the last one we need to do is fetch a budget successfully. Fetch budget. Great. So this creates a budget. We create a new budget. Now we need to fetch the budget. Let fetch budget equals try await self.budget, get budget from budget ID. Great. I mean, honestly, this is really fast. I Love it that this is so fast. Now that like I've figured out the hard parts. Oh, come back. Go away. I figured out the hard parts, to be honest, with like testing yesterday, I guess, and figuring out like the Postgres, how to get to work with Docker and all that jazz. Cannot convert type value UUID. Oh yeah, duh. It needs to be a budget ID. There we go. Okay. So now if I run all these, we should be good. Are we not gonna just let me run it from the top of the suite? There we go. And this should be test ran. Test run with 3 tests passed after 0.229 seconds. Sweet. And then I'm gonna break everything by running all the tests and see what happens. Yeah, I figured that would happen. So both these tests are now running at the same time. They're not parallelized. They're not serialized. They're parallelized. So I need to make them serialized, I guess. Oh, that's annoying. Like, is that a case of just having a different test scheme? Like, okay. Let's make a new chat. I have 2 tests that both use the same Postgres database, and I would like that to stay the same as my GitHub action creates that. And at ci.yaml, let's dismiss that. That's fine. In my ci.yaml, I have 2 tests. I am still working on how to properly like prompt these things, because I don't get the results that other people do from using like cursor sometimes. I just don't understand. And maybe it's because I am trying to be too smart to understand it, but it is what it is. So I'm just trying to figure out what's the proper context to give, all that jazz. How do I make these tests both serialized and not run at the same time as each other? Nice. We have, what's the latest? Yeah, Steven. I got the, oh, I could create the struct. I could create a huge struct. Okay, sorry. What's the latest? What's going on? Where are we? What happened? You missed like everything. It's done. The whole app's built. I wish it was that easy. I got the, where'd we go? The budget controller's in. So we can, I'll get back to cursor chat in a bit. We can make a new budget. We can get a budget. We can then also have the Postgres repository create the budget inside Postgres. And we also fetch the budget inside Postgres. I figured out that I didn't figure out that. I refactored out the parse budget into its own function so that I can use that inside the get budgets and create budgets, so I don't have to keep doing this logic over and over again, which was great. Protocols written. And then the other thing that happened, that's not true. There is an argument parser. And here we have this post. I ran into an issue where I wasn't able to create a table. I wasn't able to create a table because the client, the Postgres, I was calling the Postgres client twice. So I was passing in the user repository and budget repository to the application services. This is very specific to Hummingbird. So these services can get run before the server starts. And it was running, before I did this, it was running like user repository.client. So I thought I needed to add in budget repository.client like that. Turns out, no, that's not what's needed. I just need one client in there. And that client calls .run to run the Postgres connection, right? So then, and then inside before server starts is where I can use the repository. Create table. And to make it very clear that I'm just using a single client, I just created the client variable that we saw at the top and used that down here. Instead of trying to just do user repository.client. It's all the same client. It should all work fine. It so far has. So that is a recap of what has happened on the last 2.5 hours. And now I'm trying to figure out, I also got tests written for the controllers and for the memory repositories. So that's great. But what's happening is because I'm using the exact same database for both tests, right? So I'm using the same Postgres database here as I am in here. They're stomping each other because by default they run parallelized, like all the different test suites do. So I was using cursor chat here to give me some ideas on how to solve this. And the best one is to actually put it inside a struct with the serialize classes. So we're going to try that. I mean, that was a really good idea. I like it. We'll see what happens. Discovering the syntax of Swift is so much more entertaining than the hour of studying you just put in for linear algebra. Why does it remind you of TypeScript and Go combined? What I've learned from the little bit I've done of TypeScript, you can get pretty far with TypeScript knowledge to get into Swift. There's some things that like are just niceties, like where is it? What am I looking for here? There's like the if-lets, guard-lets, stuff like that, like just don't exist in TypeScript that are really nice in Swift, but they're very similar. I've never used Go. I should probably go check that out at some point. Go check that out. Go check out Go. But yeah, whenever you get like typed languages, they look very similar. Also, those two languages are also very new, so they probably take all three of these are probably taking a little bit of influence from each other. Yeah, would be what happened. Why I would say they remind you of TypeScript and Go. All right. Let's see. Sorry about that very speedy run through. I shouldn't be sorry about that. That was actually really nice to do a nice little overview of what happened. Let's try to do this. Where should I put them? It breaks my database tests dot swift. Import testing at testable import app. So at suite database tests dot serialize. So this feels wrong that I can do this. I don't think this is what's supposed to happen. Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to do. So is there not a way to just run them sequentially instead of in parallel? So that's exactly what I'm trying to do here. So this is using the new Swift testing framework from Apple. It got released at DubDub, I think last year, maybe the year before. Where'd this go? I have it open somewhere. I thought this one. Well, ish. This is at least the docs for it, I think. Does it not link to the GitHub repo? Probably not. No. Okay. These are the docs for it. It's a new Swift. It's a new macro. It's a new testing library written in Swift, purely in Swift. So I am, or maybe not purely. I don't know actually. So I am trying to figure out how to do that on a single test suite. So each file can represent a test suite, but on a single test suite, you can do like this thing where you @suite database test serialized, which is what I do currently here. Now the issue, and it worked great on the single class. So I could in theory just throw everything into one class and do that. I'd rather not. This suggested that I do @suite var this thing. I don't know if this is actually possible. I'm gonna try. I don't know if it is though. Like I don't know if this is valid syntax here. This is my first time really using it to where I need things to be serialized, so that's also the issue. What I'm trying to do. Var user repository tests. Set.self. That seems odd. @suite cannot be applied to a property. Yeah. I mean, it feels like it should make sense, but I don't know. Like the macro itself doesn't work. So like, the suite can't be applied to the property from a macro suite. So like, that makes sense because @suite is really only supposed to be used for classes. Let's see. Is only supposed to be used for classes or structs, not for properties. Yeah, like individually, like it should make sense, but again, this framework might not work that way. I don't know if this is also going to work either. Container.client. I mean, I guess it might. And all the database classes. Yeah. I mean, basically this just says I put it all in one database at the end of the day. Which is fine. Like, I can do that. I just didn't like it. But that's fine. I don't. I should probably continue. Well, no, it's fine. Could you just create a constructor for data and call the individual? I probably. I don't know. That's a. I don't think that doesn't. I don't think so. I don't think that's how the framework's supposed to work. What, like var user tests equals user. Yeah, because that's not how the framework is supposed to work. So like that's gonna be. Oh wait. Yeah, that's async call cannot occur and property initializer call can grow. Yeah, it's not be about something. Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Like our user tests. I still don't think that this is gonna be. I get what you're saying though. So like this, that. Maybe let's try it. I mean, the worst that happens is like it won't. But then I guess I have to do like await user test dot test create table. Try. I mean, you could. I mean, the great thing is actually what I'm doing right here doesn't actually require a Mac. This like Swift has a Windows port, a Windows and a Linux version. Like what I'm writing here is I'm making sure that all my tests, all the code I'm writing is not using anything required by on macOS, so that I get to package it up in a Docker container and put it on a DigitalOcean that's running Linux. I'm just gonna see if this works first. I feel like it shouldn't work. But did it actually? Like, that seems really fast. Yeah, once you do the actual iOS part, you do need a Mac. But like for this part, you don't. I don't know how to test that this is actually working. It seems odd. Yeah, once you get to actual iOS development, then yes, but just doing this part, like, it should be fine. I'll just connect to my database. Yeah, so if I connect to my database, like, I'm not actually, like, it's not actually running, like, it's just not throwing errors. So, like, in theory, my table should still be there because I didn't drop it. Oh no, it is there. Huh. Okay. Never mind, it just didn't. I didn't think that it should work this way. I still don't think it should work this way. This seems wrong. Like, really wrong. Like, but okay. I mean, that's fine. Like, I get to keep my separate test files. I then still have to call them over here. It just seems weird to have to do that. But okay. I mean, it is working. Like, I'm not gonna say it's not. I mean, it looks like it's working. Like, I mean, again, programming is just programming, right? Like, at the end of the day, like, I mean, I probably would have gotten here also. It's nice to have someone to bounce ideas off of as well. But yeah, programming is just programming. So if you know the fundamentals of programming, you can probably just switch to a different language. And it's just understanding if the framework's gonna break or not, which it might not. I don't know. So I create both. And it cleans up. See, but it's not. I guess this could work, actually. Yeah, I mean, I guess it really could work. I don't know. I'm still not very sold on this idea that this is the right way to go. But obviously it did work for at least the create tables. I'm gonna do this real quick. Let's not call the drop tables on this last one. Go back here. I guess I could take out all the tests on that one and it would probably help my brain be a little bit better. No, I have to have the test there so that the expect macros work. Right. So we have budgets. I mean, there's a budget. There's the user. All right. Well, that's cool. That is an interesting. I guess it makes sense. You just have tests in there. The tests make sure the expect macros work. Okay. You're testing. Can we get rid of the suite though? Is that necessary? I wonder if you don't need the test now. It might be. It's called Table Plus. It might be only Mac. I'm not sure. Other platforms. Looks like Mac OS, iOS, Windows, and Linux. I really like it. It's been great. I get it through a subscription that I have called SetApp. Now, granted, this I think is only Mac apps, but for people who do have a Mac, it's a really great subscription. I found it worth it. It includes a whole bundle of apps for however much I think I pay it for the year. Whatever it is yearly is what I pay. $11.24 a month times whatever, and I get all the apps on here for that subscription price, which includes the Table Plus that you see me going through the Table Explorer, Drop Share, which I use to share files. There's some screenshot stuff, a lot of different things. The Rapid API, the API thing I was using, used to be on there, and now it's just free, which is even better. But yeah, lots of different utilities. I like to test things like that, so it's been one of the best subscriptions for me. All right, so I think I can I erase all these tests though? Was it? No, I want to keep at tests. I just can get rid of. Nice. It might even be free on Mac. I don't know. I installed it via the other stuff. Is this going to work now? Like if I run it again? And it says it works. It's just going really fast. I haven't seen it work that fast. So that's just like the only thing, but oh, no, these fail. Why? Oh, let's, I probably didn't actually, let's delete those. I always forget how to, like, undo. Not undo, but like, there we go. Save. Save. Alright. Let's try again. There we go. And then in user, okay, so I took this out of user, so I think I can go and do the same thing in Postgres. We don't need the suites anymore, it seems like. It still seems odd. I still feel like I shouldn't be doing it this way, but we're gonna go with it. I mean, it does look like it's working. You know, like, it's just that feeling that like something is not working as you expect it to, so it feels odd, but yeah. All right, moment of truth is running all the tests at once and see if this works. Oh, it's not going to. I already know. Stop. All right. Let's try again. Now that this self drop tables is back, let's try again. It's building and running. Do. All right, hopefully. All right, everything passed. I'm gonna commit this. We're gonna push it. If GitHub complains when I wake up tomorrow, then we know where the issue is. but I feel a lot better having these tests in and somewhat working. Tests, add for budget and database functionality. Great. Commit and push. All right, y'all. That was a really fun time. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Steven, thanks for dropping by. Appreciate it. Good luck with the course, it sounds like. I'm gonna call it a night. Again, thank you all so much for sticking around. I really appreciate it. I don't know when I'll be back in the next couple weeks. I will stream again sometime like this weekend. I'm trying to figure out when that'll actually happen. If it's gonna be on Saturday or Sunday, just follow or subscribe if you're on YouTube or Twitch. I don't know which one. So follow or subscribe. You'll get the notification. Hit the bell on YouTube. You'll get the notification when I go live again. Join the Discord or follow me anywhere. And I usually try to post about it as well. I saw Stream Elements in here earlier, and I was hoping it would work, but maybe it's not. Jay Wilson. Whoops. You can find all my links at here, I think. I can figure this out quickly. .zip /follow. So here's where you can go find me on the internet. Discord is... There should be links in the description below or somewhere about my Discord. Again, feel free to join, chat, hang out. I like to post whenever I'm going to go live again. Like I said, I think I should do it sometime this weekend. And then it'll probably be a week or so until I do it again. Purely from a schedule standpoint, it's just not going to work. I have stuff coming up. But yeah, feel free, join me on other socials, and I will catch y'all later. Have a great night.